Hello everybody, this is DeanoGTO and this is the AMX 5120, the Tier 9 French heavy tank. Well, I should probably say Tier 10 or Tier 9 French auto-loading heavy tank, because I think in the future a mini branch of French heavies may come to the game of like non-auto-loading variants, which I think would be awesome, because if the AMX M449s are anything to go off, they're going to be amazing. Although, may have kind of annoying weak points, but yeah. With the first shot of the game. Go first tracks. Nails tracks, 414 damage. Got bad shots, not having a good day. So I think that was 1200 damage, and it's only been a minute of the game. So, there's the power of all loaders right there. And yeah, it only says 800 in the bottom left because the damage versus the bad shot that when he was unspotted doesn't count, because well, the game doesn't know whether or not you did the damage or not, or the UI doesn't take that into account. I'm just gonna hang out here for a while and just kind of try and get shots in where I can. Oh, something I should mention about this thing. This thing now has 9 degrees of gun depression. 9 degrees. This thing now has more gun depression than the M103. Sounds weird, but it does. And now I'm going to try and focus on the E50, try and get as many shots in as I can. He pokes up again for some reason. And last shot, he showed side just enough, and yeah, leave him on no health as well. So I'm doing pretty well in terms of just dishing out damage right now. I think I'm on about 2000 right now if I had to guess, or yeah, 2000 seems about right. And the game is only 2 minutes old. So, yeah, again, power of autoloaders. And if you know what you're doing in an autoloader, you can really determine how a game plays, or how a game plays out, by removing health from the targets that are most. By removing health from the targets that are most important, you can remove them from the game earlier and make sure they have less of an impact. Like, I just killed the T-54 and now I'm just nailing this T-10 and take him out of the game. That's 2 tier 9s dead in, how long was that, 10 seconds? So, yeah. And also, something else I should mention, this thing also got a gun elevation buff to go along with the gun depression buff, and I would say the gun elevation buff is more significant than the gun depression buff, because you could kind of deal with 6 degrees of gun depression, but 6 degrees of gun elevation was just diabolical. Like, dealing with that amount of gun elevation was genuinely like one of the hardest things to deal with about the tank by far. It just was not fun to deal with 6 degrees of gun elevation. 6 degrees of gun depression still wasn't great, like, but now it has 9 degrees of gun depression and I think 11 degrees of gun elevation. So it's doing pretty well now in terms of like how it plays. And honestly, the main reason why I wanted the 5120 was the slightly faster shell reload and the extra gun depression. Did I say 5120 or did I say 50B? The main reason why I wanted the 50B over the 5120 was because, well, yeah, and this is what an autoloader can do to a T125 in a really short period of time. And that's it, tier 10 dead in, how long was that? 10 seconds. A couple of other tanks shot him too, but yeah. Bulk of the damage was done by me, and you may notice that I am kind of being a bit passive whenever I'm reloading, because I don't want to jump into a situation where I don't have my gun reloaded. The reload is about 34 seconds, but yeah. Back to what I was saying about the 50B. The main reason why I wanted a 50B was because it had extra gun depression, and it had a faster reload between shots, and it had a faster clip reload. Now, the 50B only has 1 degree more gun depression. I'm not sure about gun elevation. So yeah. The difference between this and the 50B isn't as great as it once was. Like, the 50B used to be way more flexible in this thing, as far as I remember. It had better gun elevation and better gun depression by a couple of degrees each way. So yeah. Autoloaders are extremely powerful, and I would encourage people to have a go at them, because they are genuinely fun to play once you get the hang of how to actually play them. And basically conserving your health until for as long as you possibly can, and being able to dish out the damage at the appropriate time. Like I said, M103 removed from the game, and I say a 215B. I did take a shot from an IS-7, not really worrying about that right now. More interested in getting a couple shots into this guy. The one thing with autoloaders is you do need to be aware of your team. And he missed. I did take... But did I take damage from the 15558 there? I'm not actually sure. But, yeah. E50's over there. There is also a couple of artillery, I think, as well. Over in that direction where the STRV 103B is heading. Just gonna hang out here for a while. Still on 12 seconds on reload. I'm on 5400 or 5500 damage pretty much so far. Gonna try and get a shot into that guy. Unfortunately, not quite fast enough reload wise. And a light tank behind me, I think, tried to take a shot at me, but I can't ignore him because I don't really feel like he's a threat. I'll go ahead forward towards the IS-7 and the bat tap. I call it the bat tap because it's easier to distinguish it from the tier 10 bat shot. And I have to say, in terms of the bat shot, I'm kind of excited for when they eventually put the HD model of that in. I feel like it'd be cool. And here I make a bit of an error in judgment. I thought I had more health than I actually did. And yeah, I thought I had like 600 health. Yeah, I didn't. I had like 380 at that point, and I just wasn't paying attention, and that kind of cost me my tank, which was kind of dumb on my part, but yeah, shit happens. So that's 1300 spotting or assistance, whatever you want to call it, and 5500 damage that we know of. I think it'll probably wind up being more than that. As far as I remember, that bat tap shot from earlier in the game did hit and did pin. And I got 5 kills. I got greedy at the end, tried to go for the 6th, and it cost me. So yeah, shit like that happens from time to time. Now the last guy on the enemy team is the Batchat 15558, and he is sitting over near the water, and I kind of assumed he was going to kill himself, not going to lie, because that's just what artilleries do. Can I click on the Grill 15 and see him? No, I cannot. Can I click on the WC-120? I think I do click on the WC-120, and yeah, this was me in the game trying to get over to the WC-120, and I forgot I could just click on his name and get to him at this point, and yeah, my bad. And now I'm at the WC-120, and this is the deadly thing about these little bastards. They have a 6-second reload between 155mm shot with HE, and they devastate you. They really do. So yeah, overall, I think a pretty damn decent game, even though I died. 5500 damage is nothing to get your nose up at, so yeah. And there's the rack of my tank. That's one thing I do have to say about this machine. It is a pretty decent looking tank, and it is one of the few French heavies that has enough armor to potentially side scrape if you want to. It's 80mm on the side, and that means you're not going to be auto pinned by everything, because I think the 5100 has 40, which means everything that's bigger than 120mm can basically auto pin your side armor. I think the 50B, I think it's 30. I might be wrong on that one because I'm not 100% sure on it, but yeah, it has extremely weak side armor, and you can pin it with basically anything at tier 10. Like, tier 10s don't give a shit about the 50B's side armor because nothing really has a low enough caliber gun to really be bounced off by that kind of crappy side armor. But yeah, that's one of the unique features of the 5120. It actually does have enough armor to potentially side scrape, although it can be a bit difficult because, well, this thing, this like cheek here can get you, you can end up taking a lot more damage than you would want to because of this like cheek area here. But you can reverse side scrape to an extent, although your gun doesn't depress very well over the back for obvious reasons. Like, you've got this little thing here, and you've got the general ass of the tank. Yeah, so it's actually a pretty decent tank now with the extra gun depression. I think it was probably one of the worst tier 9 heavies in the game pre-buff. But now that's been buffed, now it's a bit more flexible, I think it might be in the top 5. And I would say honestly, the M103 easily the worst tier 9 heavy in the game right now. I'm not sure what would be the bottom 3 tier 9 heavies because most of the rest of them are pretty good. Like pre-buff for the VK4502B, I would say the VK4502B would have been bottom, this thing would have been second bottom, and the M103 probably would have been third bottom. That would have been the bottom 3, like pre-buff for the VKB and pre-buff for this thing. But now that those two vehicles have been buffed, and the VKB has been buffed for a couple of years now, I think, those vehicles are now far superior to the M103. The M103 has just gotten worse over time. Like I think it got a HD nerf in terms of armor, and overall, it's just not that great of a tank. And honestly, I just don't enjoy playing the. I didn't enjoy playing the M13 at all because it's just such a pain in the ass to do anything in because you're going to take damage for everything that looks at you. It's really frustrating after dealing with like the godlike turret of the T-32. So yeah. So I think that's about everything I need to say. I'll probably try and think of the other couple vehicles I would put along with the M103 at the bottom 3. Although that could be difficult because most of the rest of them are on pretty even playing field, I would say. So yeah, on to the stats. Okay, so in this game I got an ace tanker, tank sniper, and a high caliber. And you may notice that little thing on the bottom of the ace tanker. That means that this was the first time I ever aced the AMX 5120. Which is kind of awesome. I actually didn't realize I hadn't aced it before, but yeah. Over 1300 base XP, I think it's roughly 1346, 5900 damage, and 5 kills. So I had a significant role in that game. Like that was a lot of damage for. I think that was a tier 10 game. Yeah, it was. SM killed me, of course it was. Okay, so 22 shots fired. I think that is difficulty rate 19 direct hits, 18 penetrations, over 2000 damage from a range of beyond 300 meters, and 1357 assistance damage. So I did pretty well, and lucky enough for me, this was played during a times 5 daily event. I think it's on for 3 days, so it's pretty nice times 5 to get. So yeah, I only made 6 grand in that game because, well, tier 9s don't make money. That's just the rules. That's just the way the game works. Let's see. So that was a 8-minute game. I died 6 minutes 44 seconds in. So yeah, I had a really nice role in that game, and I'm kind of happy with how I played in that one. But random thought. You know the marathon missions that Water Tanks does? This is the reason. The reason I'm coming up with this thought is the marathon that's currently running on World of Warships. I hope they reduce the requirements for the next one in terms of the amount of damage and kills you need to get, because people are not going to do that for 9 nations. Like it only occurred to me the other day that there are now 9 nations in the game. That's unbelievable. Like that's insanity. Like if they don't reduce the requirements, people aren't going to do that. Like I don't care how long they give me, I am not doing that there for. I don't care what tier premium it is. Like you see when the first marathon event came out, it was 150,000 damage and I think 150 kills for 6 nations. When WZ111 came out, I think it was 7 nations. And the T44 100, it was 8 nations. People are not going to do that shit for 9 nations. The marathon requirements in World of Tanks are crap. They suck. Like in World of Warships, for the current one for the Graph SP, it's at least more manageable because it's based on XP rather than being based on doing a certain amount of damage and getting a certain amount of kills in like it is in World of Tanks for every single nation. Like in World of Warships, you can do it with any nation you like, and it counts towards the total. In World of Tanks, it's not like that, and it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. The amount of time it takes to do those missions is unbelievable. And if you don't have some tier 10s to farm the damage takes forever. And low tiers, it takes forever to farm kills. They just take so much effort to do, and even skipping 2 nations, I only had a week left before I finished it, and it took so much time, so much effort. So I hope they reevaluate how they do their marathons in World of Tanks soon, because the World of Warships style of doing it is much better. Even though World of Warships is not in my is not in my opinion doing a very good thing right now, considering they denied EU the Santa's Convoy mission thing that every other server got. So yeah, people are not happy about that, and rightfully so, because they just got cheated basically out of earning some camos by completing the graph speed missions, then jumping into the Santa's convoy missions, and being able to get some camos, for some free premium camos for some of their favorite ships. Like you could have gotten it for the Bairn and a couple of other tier sixes. I think the Farragut was in there as well, and the Farragut is a really popular ship. People love the Farragut, and like the Santa's convoy missions, you need the graph speed to do it. So you only really have like 5 days or something like that, or maybe a week or two, to really get the missions done from when you get the graph speed in like early or mid January. So yeah, you don't really have that much time to do them, but at least they're giving you the option to like select certain ships that you'll want to get the camos for, so you can get those camos. Whereas EU just decided, fuck you, you're not getting it. So yeah, dickhead move from EU. Not gonna lie, I think that was stupid, and I'm kind of insulted that they did that. I'm still gonna do the graph speed missions because I want tier 6 premium for free. But yeah, I still think that's a really scummy thing to do, especially since EU, I think, is the biggest server in terms of population. So yeah, that was a really shitty thing to do. I mean, look at Russia and World of Tanks. They never get shit like that. In fact, most of their stuff is actually cheaper in terms of how much it costs relative to the amount of gold. Well, the amount of gold is the same as far as I'm aware, but the amount of money it costs to get the same amount of gold is significantly cheaper in Russia, as far as I'm aware, than it is in EU, as an example. So yeah, we just got boned. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm pissed off at that, but fuck all I can really do about it. So yeah, kind of a rant at the end, but yeah. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. And if you like the style of the video, maybe like and subscribe, or dislike, depending on your opinion on the video. You can't get around too long at the end. And yeah. So, as I said earlier, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.